Una, can we lock ourselves away from reality?
I have no doubt about it, and I have witnessed in my own life and the lives of those that I work with. And you know, it's in all of us to imprison ourselves. And you know, in Luke it said, I've called you that you may have light and have the fullness. And in Isaiah they have the same thing, that I have called that you can have it and have it to the full. So we have the key to the freedom, because our heart is the freedom. Some of us throw away the key when a problem comes our way, and we are locked. And we're meant to be free. So we do imprison ourselves, and we can do it in a variety of ways. I say to people that I'm working with, you have only one life. Let tease what you have locked away. And you know, I discovered in counselling where it might be a simple thing that they were embarrassed about. And now in their middle years or late years they say, Una, I'm ashamed to say this. They were locked in that. You see, self is all the time trying to free us. And that self tries in so many different ways. Might be just a book a person read and said, Una, this line is speaking to me. And then I would tease that out. So, you know, some of us do things that we get ashamed of. And then we get guilty about it. And then we get trapped in that neurotic guilt. It's not real guilt, but I make it real. And I go through life covering that shame, covering that issue that I never brought to light. And I say to people, you don't have to share with me something you're embarrassed about, but I'm going to ask you one thing. Write about it. And I'd say to them, write 3 letters around that. Write for 20 minutes one day, 2 or 3 days later write another 20 minutes around the same topic, just the feeling, emotional self. The facts is one thing. We're never controlled by facts. We're controlled by feelings. Because the feeling, emotional self, the heart, the soul, all that is connected. So I say, write about it, write a 3rd letter. And I say, if you want to bring it in, and I don't want to hear it, I only want to hear the feelings. And it's amazing. I had an experience there recently, about 3 days ago, and the girl said, I came against all odds, and I go out with a light heart. Something that she had locked away when she was 7 years of age. Something very simple, but it became major for her. Now she had a child that was around that age, 7. And she said, I didn't know why I was coming here, but somebody said you need to go to Una Bonet because they said you're not yourself. And when she sat down, she said to me, I'm only coming now and I won't be coming back. And I said, this is your time. You don't have to come back, or you don't have to stay here. Halfway through, she said, I want to come back, Una, and I want to come back next week. She was beginning to have an internal experience that was externalized in a safe environment. So many of us go through life half living. And we could be fully alive to everything around us. But you see, we get ashamed. Shame is a terrible thing, and we blame ourselves for something that is outside our control. But we have the key. We think Jesus or whoever, or the therapist has the key. What the therapist will do, which I often do, is facilitate them into their awareness gradually. And if they start crying, I say, what water is to the earth, tears of the body. Stay with that, because when I say that to them, you can see the body relaxing. They've come into a new awareness. They often give you symbols too. You know, I'm going to make changes. And I said, yeah, change. What kind of a change? You know, I've been kind of dressing like a 20-year-old, and now I'm 30. as great insight. Trying to catch the past in the now. They don't need to do that. Because they have the wisdom of 10 years, and that frees them. So yes, we do lock ourselves. In very simple things, it's never a major thing. But even if it's major, you name, claim and tame. The past is in the now, as I always say, unless you have passed through it. So unless you have passed through it, something that's coming up needs addressing. And people say to me, "Sure, that's rubbish." I said, tease it out here with me. I always use the ball of twine concept. I'd say, I'd have a ball of twine there, and I'd say, look, there's knots on that. How will we get the knots off? We'll have to open them up. And I said, how will we get it here? And they said, what's happening here? I'm sharing the pain. And they'd be sobbing. So we do keep, and we often keep secrets that destroy us because we're ashamed of them, and they're locked away in us. And remember, I've called you that you may have life and have it to the full. But to have that life to the full, you must honour who you are. Many of us grew up and in so many places they said to you, you're no good. And they're living out of that. Others grew up comparing themselves to somebody else. You're a child of the universe, as a poem goes. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. But if you compare yourself to others, that's the downfall. Because there's always lesser and greater people than you. But you are you, and you're special. And only insofar as you honour that. And another thing, laughter is great. Laugh at yourself. I often laugh at myself and say, God, I made a mess of that, but sure, I'm learning from it. You talk to yourself. But I can tell you, writing. But it's a very good question. We do lock ourselves, and we have the key. We lock ourselves into the prison, and not alone that, we build walls around us. And we shrink into ourselves. And the mind that has a great mind and it wants to open up more, it's fearful. And as I said before, and I say it again, fear is false evidence appearing real. When you begin to tease out something, you heal it. But the more you repress it, the more you're oppressed. So I say to anyone that's watching this video, I say, whatever is bothering you, write it. If you like, get a bit of help. But don't carry it, don't repress it. Because we're made to heal. And as I said before, we work out of two, we're either good to ourselves or not liking ourselves. The true self is, I'm made in God's image and likeness for great things. The false self is, I've no good, I've nothing to give to the world. Until you are helped or do it yourself, to let go of that false self and begin to write down all your strengths. That's your way forward. And I challenge everyone that sees this video to begin to honour their true self and not their false self. Because we were never meant to have the false self, but in life and situations we picked up negativity along the way. But now we're adults and we're in a position to look afresh with the eyes of our heart and with the eyes of freedom, with the eyes of intelligence to say, why am I carrying this? So I ask in a special way today that you will take the key that you have self-locked away, open it up and you'll find the treasures. May you begin that inner journey. And as you begin it, you will find wisdom, understanding, but above all freedom. And may you grasp it and laugh at yourself, because life is a journey and there's no perfect journey.